So onto the performance grades. First, to say that they build on a successful assessment model, which is quite well established, and I'm talking about the ABRSM. The principle of a performance-focused exam is something that we have been running for nearly 5 years now, and is a very successful model to which the performance grades connect. They also provide flexibility and make sure that no matter what the situation, the context, that there's a potential for continuity of access. I'll explain a bit more about that later. They also offer an additional alternative formal assessment pathway. So they sit alongside the practical grades that many people will already be familiar with as a complement to that. So they're as well, they're not instead. Let's think about how music exams can help. I think many of us will recognize these reasons to take a music exam. Helps you develop a broad base of skills, helps you prepare the various different components. It gives you a worthwhile goal to aim for. It means that you gain experience of performance experience. Everyone takes up an instrument to play or to sing, to perform. That's very important. It also enables you to receive objective feedback on how you're doing. That goes back to the circle that I just showed you in terms of motivation. Feedback leads to improved performance. And it also gives you a pat on the back. It gives you that recognition, a certificate to recognize your achievements. And that's a very important component of the formal exams. But now thinking about what performance grades can also help with, they help in developing program building skills and also in terms of video recording skills and delivery of a sustained performance. And of course, video recording is a standard medium for performance, more now than ever, but particularly for things like auditions and other assessments, it is a complement to live performance to an audience. What about if you would feel more comfortable and you would feel more confident if you were in your own environment and able to record your performance and submit a video at a time that suits you, and obviously kind of with the exam room coming to you instead of you going to it. And if you have any particular needs, and they could be physical, they could be geographic, they could be to do with the calendar, performance grades give you much more flexibility than the traditional practical grades, because the notion of exam date, exam time and exam venue, they are all not applicable because it's about submitting a video that you can record where and when suits you. It might also be to do with other people's availability, for example, an accompanist. So the key features of performance grades attach to performance. They're performance-focused exams. So there's a sense of sort of take to the stage, performance platform, communicate, interpret, and deliver your own musical performance. That's the focal point of the assessment. It also features the possibility of personalizing your program. I'll go on to the details of this, but along with required repertoire, there's considerable scope to choose some of the music that you play. In terms of accessibility, the performance grades are when you want, where you want. So clearly that affords much more flexibility than the model we're used to, where there's a date and a time and a venue fixed by the awarding organisation. On to some specific syllabus information about the performance grades. From grades 1 to 8, consists of 4 pieces or songs performed as a continuous programme, and that's quite important. 3 of those items need to come from the graded lists A and B and C for that particular grade. And the 4th item, this is the own choice dimension I was talking about, that 4th piece or song is free choice as long as it's at the same level of demand as the graded pieces that you're playing or singing. The performance grades are assessed remotely by video recording. So at a different time, but still assessed by the same examiner panel as ABRSM practical grades. For information, the performance grades have entire equivalence with the practical grades. So that means in terms of the UCAS points that they attract at the higher grades, and in terms of their positioning on the various qualification frameworks. And it's also worth saying that in order to take performance grades at 6, 7, and 8, you still need the prerequisite of grade 5 theory equivalent for the practical grades. The ARSM, Associate of the Royal Schools of Music, that performing diploma is also available in this format, namely as an uploaded video submission to be assessed remotely. So we end up, in a way, with a pair of parallel ladders. I'd like you to imagine grades 1, 2, 3, 4 underneath this, just to look at the top of the ladders. We've got on the left-hand side the performance grade exams, 5, 6, 7, 8, with an ARSM uploaded option at the top. Whereas on the right, we've got the practical exams, that's face-to-face in the room with examiners, grades 5, 6, 7, 8, and ARSM as well.
It's worth adding, just for absolute clarity, that performance grades are different from the practical grades. Performance grades are not intended to be a video uploaded version of the practical grades. They're distinctly different. It's a different type of assessment. And thinking about those two ladders, ARSM at the top, the Associate of the Royal Schools of Music diploma, is actually the same whether you upload or whether you take the exam face-to-face in the room. Whereas for the grades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the in-the-room experience involves 3 pieces and supporting tests, which are quite different from the performance grade version, video uploaded, which is 4 pieces and then an assessment of the performance as a whole. So I just wanted to make it clear that one's not trying to be the other. They're quite distinct. As I said earlier, they're as well, not instead, and both will continue as we go into the future.
So I hope that kind of explains the parallel rungs that we're talking about here and explains to some extent the equivalence of them across from one to the other.